Blood was everywhere. As she looked at the floor, knees knocking. Run away! Kiani's voice came through the tinnitus. She felt like everything was happening in a flash, and at the same time, she felt like the incident had happened for hours. She felt a sudden push. It was Kiani's hand, bloodied, his thumb missing. Tears filled her eyes as she made for the only escape, the second door that led to her bathroom. She locked the door and collapsed on her knees. She was too shocked. She had lost her voice, caught between two minds. She couldn't choose whether to scream or to stay silent. She feared the scream could bring his onslaught to her, knowing the bathroom door was so weak. She had broken it before by mistake. How soon, she worried, will help come before she meets her demise. On the other hand, she felt selfish, staying quiet as she heard bodies slamming into each other. Please, she heard him beg severally as his voice became quieter by the seconds. She heard rushed footsteps leave the room, and somewhat in a panic, the neighbors had hurried into the room to save Kiani. He had been stabbed 18 times with 2 missing fingers. The neighbors had heard the commotion and came in their numbers. Finally, the horror was over. Camilla came out of the bathroom, drenched in sweat and tears, supported by 2 of the neighbors, paralyzed by shock. She found it difficult to walk or even stand on her own. No one died that day, but the damage was done. The brutality of that night's event left deep scars on both Camilla and Kiani. Camilla's sense of guilt and self-loathing was a heavy burden she could not bear. In the days that followed, she nursed Kiani back to health, but her heart was already miles away from the life they had envisioned. Without a word, Camilla left. She vanished from Kiani's life as quietly as she had entered, leaving behind a note that read simply,
"Forgive me."
Her departure was a ghostly echo of the dreams they had shared, now forever out of reach. Kiani was left to rebuild from the wreckage of that night, but the emotional and physical scars remained. The hope they had once clung to was gone, and with Camilla's departure, he was left with only memories of a love that had been both his greatest solace and his deepest wound. Years later, Kiani would sometimes think of Camilla, wondering where she had gone and whether she had found peace. The memory of that fateful night was a dark shadow that followed him, a constant reminder of the fragility of hope and the price of their dreams.